Get cool stuff for what you were going to do anyway. Drink beer. With Buy Beer, Get Gear from Labatt, you can just snap a photo of your receipt and upload it to the website to rack up points for exclusive merch. Get points for every purchase, whether you're grabbing a pint on draft, a case for a party, or a tall boy at the stadium. Any size, any product, anywhere you buy Labatt. Buy beer, get gear. Sign up now at rewards.labattusa.com.
Friday here in Syracuse. Giovanni Heater with you. Pinch hitting tonight for the one and only Tim Leonard. He's out of town with Syracuse women's basketball. That means I got you covered here tonight on ESPN Syracuse and QSportsTalk.com. Appreciate Tim for trusting me with the reins. It feels like quite the honor. Wearing somebody else's shoes, if you will. Being on Tim's show here tonight as we take you for the next hour right here on ESPN Q's. All things Syracuse, all things current landscape of sports from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on ESPN Syracuse and QSportsTalk.com. The phone lines are open as always. Feel free to chime in. Give us a call. 315-437-7644. As always, the number to ring. That's 4ESPN 44. 315-437-7644. Give us your thoughts, whether you want to talk Syracuse basketball, Syracuse football. We got a jam-packed show for you today. A lot to get to. We're going to talk about Syracuse basketball. That's how we will lead the show today. We might get to a little bit of Syracuse football. If the conversation takes us in that direction, we will end up talking some college football playoffs later on in the show and break down the college football playoff bracket, make some predictions for how I think the college football playoffs will shake out this upcoming couple of weeks. We're going to talk some Buffalo Bills going all over the place here tonight with a Football Friday on Drive Time because the Buffalo Bills in a really good spot. An opportunity against the New England Patriots this weekend in Foxborough, who are currently the number one team in the AFC. Currently the team that has the grasp of the AFC East, which is crazy to say, considering it's been Buffalo's division for each of the last 5 straight seasons, and they look as if they are going to surrender it to New England this year. Nevertheless, a lot to get to. Paul McCoy, our producer, will hop on the show later on as well, and we will give you our Football Friday segment where we take a peek at the landscape. Not a college football this week outside of Army-Navy because it's Army-Navy week. That's all we got on the college football side of things. But a lot of really good NFL games, and it's that time of year where the NFL games are that much more meaningful as you rack towards playoff mode, as you rack towards Christmas time, everything like that. The games tick up a notch in their level of importance as you get those races to see who's going to win the divisions, who's going to get into the postseason, who's not. Been a really weird year in the NFL, particularly in the AFC. A lot of teams that you're used to seeing dominate haven't dominated. Is Kansas City going to get into the playoffs? Baltimore's probably going to miss the playoffs. The Bengals are going to miss the playoffs in all likelihood. Buffalo looked like it was going to be in trouble for a little bit. They seem to have righted the ship, but they're not necessarily in the clear just yet. So a lot to talk about there as Paul McCoy will join us for Football Friday, and we're taking you 5 to 6 right here. It's Drive Time on ESPN Syracuse and QSportsTalk.com. So I want to start the show today by talking Syracuse basketball. A win last night in the Dome, 71-63, the final score in favor of Syracuse. They take down St. Joseph's in a game that felt like this team just looked like it hadn't played in 9 days because it hadn't. A 9-day layoff. Syracuse last played last Tuesday in the Dome. A big win. You're coming off an emotional high, taking down a top 15 Tennessee team, picking up a huge non-conference must-win moment. It felt like in so many ways for that 4-game and 8-day stretch between the Vegas trip and the ACC-SEC Challenge against Tennessee, it felt like Syracuse really had to empty the tank, had to dig deep, had to soul search a little bit, had to match a level of physicality against teams like Houston and Tennessee in particular that you're not necessarily going to face night in and night out. Different level of physicality, different level of defensive ability, and it's a daunting task. And it really felt like Syracuse was up to the task. They emphatically get this big exclamation point of a win, the court storming, all of that, the celebration, everything that goes into that. And that can really be emotionally taxing to then have to turn around, have to sit for 9 days. And of course, they're practicing. They're keeping their bodies right. They're getting their treatment. They probably did have a couple of days off, especially because it was finals week at SU. And they all had finals to take care of and studies to attend to and everything like that. They definitely had a few days off. And then they got back to basketball. And you almost have to reset in a way. Lock back in. Find your groove once again. It's a long, long layoff. 9 days is a really, really long time. And we felt it as fans, right? We were sitting here feeling like that team hadn't played. The nice thing is the win that they got before the layoff was such a fun one that you're okay with sitting on it for 9 days, right? And soaking in it, basking in it, if you will. But you combine that with the fact that it was a 9 p.m. tip on a very, very snowy, gloomy type of a Thursday night. It just didn't have the recipe for this team to get up, if you will. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the nature of the beast in Syracuse basketball's scenario last night. And I felt like they were very, very flat and never quite got everything rolling. Another point that was brought up post-game, we didn't know it immediately post-game, and then we continued to learn it into the morning, now throughout the day today, that I didn't get to talk about on the post-game show last night because, again, we didn't have knowledge of it. It appears that there's a bit of a bug going around the team. Flu-like symptoms, Nathan George in particular. It felt as if Sadiq White was a little bit off, and multiple players on the team have said that they're feeling under the weather. Okay, 9 days off, 9 p.m. tip. Nathan George, your starting point guard's got the flu, and other guys are starting to feel it too. Like, that makes sense. That makes sense. So for that, I'd like to say I'm not worried. Not worried in the slightest about Syracuse's performance last night inside the Dome in a 71-63 win over St. Joseph's. I beg the question to you, whether you're in the chat, whether you want to call in. The phone line is open. 315-437-7644 is the number to call. I beg you this. Was it a bad game for Syracuse last night? And let's remember, folks, they won the game. Okay, so we're not sitting here dreading a loss that really tanks you in the net rankings and everything like that. They won the game. I do think the net rankings are going to take a knock because they do reward you for beating bad teams and they reward you for keeping it close with really, really good teams. This was one of those games, though. Unfortunately, it really can only hurt you more than it can help you. And I do feel like that was in the mix a little bit because of the fact that it was an 8-point game and Syracuse probably should have won by 30, 40 points to feel real good about it. So it probably does hurt you a little bit in the net rankings. But I ask you this question, and I'd love for you to call in, give your thoughts. Looks like the phone lines are ringing right now, or address it in the chat. Was this a bad game for Syracuse or a bad sign for Syracuse basketball last night? Because, to play devil's advocate, it's not the first time. It's not the first time they've come out pretty flat, didn't feel like they were flexing their muscles, if you will, and playing down to the level of competition, because they did that against Monmouth, if you remember. It felt like they kind of stooped to the level of Monmouth's competition, and it was a pretty similar game to that of the St. Joseph's one. So, I beg you that question. Was it a bad game or a bad sign for Syracuse basketball in the 71-63 win over St. Joseph's last night? And it looks like we got phone lines going right now. We got John in Central Square, so we're going to bring him right on here. John, how we doing?
Doing pretty good. I got to watch the game last night on my computer on the ACC network.
Awesome.
And I thought it was a pretty good game. And it did not, for the record, leave a bad taste in my mouth.
Okay.
Those were two teams that were giving each other shots back and forth the whole evening. There was great defense on both sides. There was some opportunistic offense. Our guys did reasonably well from the free throw line. They could have done better, but I think as the season goes on, they are going to improve and smooth things out a little bit from the free throw line. I have some confidence in them. They just need to have confidence in themselves. But as far as wondering why we didn't win by more than 8 points, I don't really have a problem with that. This is a young team. They're up and coming. We got to be patient with them and patient with our expectations for them. As long as they keep winning, whether it's by 1 or by 15, 20 points, I'll be satisfied with that because they're giving tremendous effort, and they pulled that one out last night because their effort did not falter when the game got tight.
Yeah, I'm with you, John, and we appreciate you ringing in, man. That's John out in Central Square. I'm with him. I think the team does show a lot of effort. Last night was tough because Red keeps going back to this level 5 effort. There were times where it didn't feel like the foot was fully on the gas, if you will. But I'm going to lean back on the fact that, and again, it's not an excuse. If they're sick, it's hard, man. It's 9 p.m. You're under the weather, and you got to kick it into high gear a little bit. Like, I'm not worried about that. And you can also relate a little bit to the fact of you're playing St. Joe's. You know, Steve brought it up earlier today, and I did think it was a very valid point. If they did this in the first half and kind of lollygagged in the first half, but then they really turned it up in the second half, and they blew them out in the second half and dominated the second half, you probably feel a little bit differently about this thing. The fact that it did last all 40 minutes is a little bit puzzling, so I can hear out that point. But Red keeps going back to this level 5 effort. Yeah, it was about a 2. Felt like about a 2 last night. It's funny, he keeps using the catchphrases. He said we got to go back to the juicing station. That's what they call the bench. The juicing station. We got to get more juice. Need the level 5 effort. But it's hard, man, when you just played 4 games where you played a top 10 team in the country in Houston, a top 10 team in the country now in Iowa State. They're the 4th-ranked team in the land right now. Top 25 opponent in Kansas and a top 25 opponent in Tennessee. When you played 4 games that you really had to empty the tank and you're thinking we're playing St. Joe's at 9, like it's not an excuse, but it's hard. It's really hard to get up for that, right? And good coaches get the best out of their players no matter who you're playing. I get that, but like you see it in every sport. Or sometimes it's hard to get up for that game. Like I played high school sports. It's not exactly the same thing. But when you know going into the game that you should win by 30, it's hard to flip the switch a little bit. So it's a fascinating point. I'm not worried. I don't think it's a bad sign. I think it's just a poor game for Syracuse basketball. I really think they're going to come out and take it to Hofstra because I do think Red was upset. He took a while getting to the podium. He didn't seem the most pleased with the performance in the press conference. I think Red got into him and said, listen, it doesn't matter who we're playing. We have to play at that level 5. We have to come out with everything. We have to put pedal to the metal at all points in the game, right? So I do think that they're going to come out with a different edge. 4 o'clock tip Saturday, Hofstra in the Dome. Fun part is they turn around real fast, right? Off today, back at it tomorrow, and we'll have you covered. We'll have you covered right here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Syracuse. We'll have pregame coverage. I'll have you covered at 3 o'clock sharp, an hour before tip. We'll have you postgame as well, immediately following the action. So we'll have it all going on. We'll have it all going on for sure. Looking forward to a fun one tomorrow. We're covering you 5 to 6, though, with Drive Time right here on ESPN Syracuse and QSportsTalk.com. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and look at the SU basketball schedule. We're going to rank some of the biggest remaining games for Syracuse basketball this year because it really did feel like an empty-the-tank kind of a stretch with those 4 non-conference games. They're not going to have to worry about strength of schedule anymore, right? With what is on their resume right now, you won 1 out of the 4. Would have been nice to get 2. You'd be sitting real pretty if you beat Houston, but you didn't. So we're going to go ahead and look through the rest of the schedule and rank what are the biggest games remaining for Syracuse. What are the must-wins if you really want to assert yourself in year 3 under Red Autry? That's after the break. Phone lines are open, 315-437-7644. If you want to get in on the action, you're listening to Drive Time right here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Syracuse. Woo. Toasty. The jacket's coming off. What's up, guys? I got a new sweater today. What do we think, guys? Spatch and the Wheeze, why are you dressed up like Goodfellas? I don't know. I just like the sweater. But I will say Goodfellas is my favorite movie. Always has been, always will be. Best movie. Untouched. I will rewatch that anytime, any day. Oh, Paulie's making fun of me.
Giovanni.
You should like Goodfellas. Do you not?
I do. I like when I've been watching the scene where he gets whacked at the end.
When Tommy gets whacked? Yeah.
Just the look on his face when he realizes what's happening.
Yeah. I turned your mic up for you.
Or your jacket's got its own chair.
Yeah, you can sit if you want.
I don't want to. I want to go home.
He wants to go home.
How's everybody in the chat doing? Everybody have a good weekend.
Paulie says have a good weekend.
I'm going to go home and make some chicken breast.
Nice.
Baby chicken.
Swift Men says, I'm going to go get the papers.
Go get your shine box.
Yeah, that might be my favorite scene. You mother! I love that. Keep him here, Henry. Keep him here.
Holly keeps... Yeah, and Rob, you keep whacking him. How's that?
Boom.
Bang, burn.
Boom.
Got him. Boom, get it? Miss you too, Spatch and the Wheeze.
It's been a very Italian day. We had Frank Sinatra as the artist of the day.
Yeah, we had Nick Carparelli.
Yeah, we did. We had Mario, Paulie, and Gio on the set. Infante. It was quite the Italian day.
How am I fun?
I'm a clown. Like, I amuse you. I make you laugh.
I'm more of a Star Wars guy.
I love Star Wars, too. I'm a big movie guy in general. Best one? Probably Empire. Rogue One? Rogue One's pretty good. It's good. I'm a sucker for the core characters, though.
I actually didn't hate Solo.
I like Solo. I really like Revenge of the Sith as well. That's like my generation's. Yeah. Fair. See ya.
Watch your favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com.
Welcome you back into Drive Time here on ESPN Syracuse and QSportsTalk.com. Giovanni Heater with you, filling in for Tim Leonard on your Friday evening. Hope everyone's getting home from the work week safely. Been quite the snowy week here in Syracuse and across central New York. Tonight, though, it seems like that's easing up just a little bit and hopefully not too snowy of a weekend, but a nice dusting. Definitely looks pretty out there if you're a fan of the Christmas lights with the snow and everything like that. Hopefully, though, we're not wiping off our cars too much this weekend. We got about 40 minutes left in our show. Plenty time to call in if you want to get in on the action. 315-437-7644 is the number to call. If you want to talk Syracuse basketball, Syracuse football, shoot, I'll talk anything. We got the college football playoffs coming up, college basketball as a whole, the Buffalo Bills. We'll talk a little bit of Buffalo Bills later on in the show. Paul McCoy, our producer, will join at the end as we will give you our Football Friday picks. A lot to get to here on Drive Time on a beautiful Friday night in the 315. But now I want to take a peek at the remaining schedule for Syracuse basketball, and I want to rank the top 5 games remaining on the Syracuse basketball schedule this year, because there's a lot of opportunities in front of Syracuse right now. In fact, I was very pleasantly surprised yesterday when really doing a deep dive and digging into some research on the ACC and how it is comparing to the rest of college basketball to this point. So going into the games yesterday, the ACC in the net rankings currently has 6 quad 1 home teams. And what I mean by that is if you are playing a team that is ranked in the top 30 in the net and you are playing on your home court, that is a quad 1 game. There are 6 of those right now. There are currently 13 quad 1 away teams in the net rankings right now. And what I mean by that is if you are playing on the road and the opposition is ranked in the top 75 of the net, then that is a quad 1 game for you. There are 13 teams right now that are in the top 75 of the ACC, top 75 of the net that play in the ACC. So that's how many opportunities for quad 1 road games there are at this current point. And that does include Syracuse, because Syracuse heading into yesterday was 75th. They were the line of demarcation for a road quad 1 game. 75th in the net. So that includes Syracuse in the algorithm. So 12 other teams, if you're playing them on the road outside of Syracuse. That's good. That's really good. And I get it's a big league. It is a very large league now with the additions of Cal, SMU, Stanford. But to have 13 teams in the top 75 and have that many quad 1 opportunities, and of course, if you're in the top 50 and it's a neutral site game, then that is also a quad 1 opportunity. You're not going to play a neutral site game in the non-con. That's really, in conference play. That's really sprinkled in there for the non-conference when you play in these holiday tournaments, the events, like Vegas, for instance. That was a neutral site. If you were playing a top 50 team, that would have been a quad 1 opportunity. Luckily, everybody Syracuse played in Vegas should sit pretty tight at quad 1. They're all top 25 teams, 2 of them in the top 10 currently. But continuing to dig a little bit deeper, the ACC having 6 quad 1 home games, so 6 in the top 30 and 13 in the top 75, so being quad 1 away games, that's pretty on par with the Big Ten and the Big 12. And that was really, really impressive to me that the ACC was sitting up there with the Big Ten and the Big 12, because you look at some of the top teams in the country, your Purdue's, who was number 1 before getting beat last week. You look at the Big 12, it's loaded. Kansas, Houston. I mean, top to bottom, Iowa State. The Big 12 is probably the best basketball conference right now. Big Ten right there with them. ACC is completely on par with how many Quad 1 teams and opportunities that they have for the taking for Syracuse this year. So I was really pleased to see that. And believe it or not, folks, believe it or not, the ACC is currently a step or two ahead of the SEC as far as how many teams are ranked this highly in the net and how many Quad 1 opportunities are on the table here. Step or two ahead of the SEC I did not see coming. Remember the SEC had a boatload of teams in the NCAA tournament last year, and that was a big conversation. Wow, the SEC is just flexing its muscles in all sports. Dominant football conference, dominant basketball conference, the national champ finally. Remember that was a big knock, that the SEC hadn't had a national champ in basketball in quite some time. Oh, they won it last year. Florida won it. Gators took it home. And then that was out of the algorithm, right? But for the ACC to be more on par with the Big 12 and the Big 10 and to be ahead of the SEC right now, and it's early, and there's still non-conference basketball to be played, right? There's still 5 games left on the non-con schedule for Syracuse. 4, actually. 5 with the win last night. Then there's still ground to be made up, but that's a good spot to be in considering it's December 11th. We've played the Thanksgiving tournaments. We've played a lot of those big events like that. Now everyone's just kind of tuning up before conference play. I was really pleased to see that. And for what it's worth, the ACC is smoking the Big East as well. There's a lot more teams, so naturally there's going to be a lot more opportunities, but there's a big gap between how many teams the Big East has in the upper echelon and how many the ACC has. So, again, 6 Quad 1 home teams, 13 Quad 1 away teams right now. The opportunities are going to be there for Syracuse. So, looking at the remaining schedule for the Orange, let's rank the top 5 biggest games left for Syracuse. And it's not necessarily the 5 best teams. It's not. Because I think the importance of it, too, is when the game is played, the relevance of the moment, and what it can do for you when you play the game. And I think that that's really, really big. So, we take a peek here. I'm going to say the 5th biggest game remaining on the schedule for Syracuse right now. It's going to be Saturday, February 7th, noon tip. They play in Charlottesville at currently 24th ranked Virginia. I think Virginia is a team and a program right now that should be pretty on par with Syracuse this year. They're ranked in the top 25, just barely. If you're Syracuse, by the end of the year, you'd like to be there to feel really confident about being a tournament team, to feel like the program is back, right? I feel like I'm looking at Syracuse and Virginia as possible equals this season. That's a game that you'd really like to go on the road and win. You wish it was in the Dome, you really do, because I'll tell you what, speaking from experience, I spent the last 4 years at Virginia Tech. Okay, that is their biggest rival. They play twice a year in every sport, Virginia and Virginia Tech. Whether it's football, basketball, whatever. In basketball, they play twice a year. John Paul Jones Arena is a hard place to play. UVA basketball fans are legit. And they pack the joint, and they're loud, and it can be a tough place to play. So you'd love it if that one was in the Dome. It's not easy to go play at JPJ on a Saturday afternoon. Place is going to be packed. February 7th, there's no breaks or anything. The students will be there in full force. So that's a big one. I'm going to say that is the 5th biggest game remaining on the schedule for Syracuse because I do feel like they are pretty comparable as far as the level of competition when you got Virginia and Syracuse going at it. And Virginia's kind of had Syracuse's number at times since joining the ACC. And then there's other times, you know, I'm looking at that Elite 8 in 2016 where Syracuse, of course, had the upper hand. Looking at that 2017 where Syracuse upset number 9 Virginia in the Dome. Weird how I remember like the exact ranking of Virginia when that happened in 2017. But I do. Kyle Guy was taunting in the Dome and the crowd was giving him a hard time. Syracuse ended up with the upset win. No more Tony Elliott, though. It's a little bit different in Charlottesville. Hopefully Syracuse can win that one. That is the 5th toughest game remaining. 4th toughest game remaining on the schedule for Syracuse right now. And not even necessarily toughest, but most important game remaining on the schedule for Syracuse. I think I'm going for the fourth most important, Monday, February 2nd. It's actually the game before that UVA game. 7 o'clock tip, Monday night, ESPN, big Monday. The lights are going to be bright. Dean Dome against 14th ranked North Carolina. Huge game. Huge spot. I keep going back to the spots, right? When is the game happening? North Carolina, big Monday at the Dean Dome, massive game. Tough game. Back-to-back road games, Carolina and Virginia. Again, that is the first really difficult game, and I mean really difficult game Syracuse is going to play in ACC play. Outside of Clemson, right? They're going to play Clemson. Then after that, it's Georgia Tech, Pittsburgh, Florida State, Boston College. Virginia Tech's pretty good. Miami might be all right. NC State, I thought was going to be a lot better. They're not going to be an easy out, but I thought NC State was going to be a little better. Notre Dame's not bad. You're playing them on January 31st, and then boom. Okay, here's your top 15 opponent on the road, big Monday, 7 p.m. tip. I mean, you're talking Dan Schulman and Jay Billis on the call. Like goosebumps, turn me up. That's going to be awesome. So I think that's the fourth biggest game remaining for Syracuse. Most important game remaining for Syracuse. Continuing to wind it down here. And this is where it gets a little bit tough. How do you separate these? I think the next biggest game for Syracuse, the third biggest game for Syracuse remaining, is probably, I'm going to say the Clemson game. New Year's Eve, 2 o'clock in the Dome. The reason I'm going to say the Clemson game is this. I almost wanted to rank it higher. It sets the table for everything. And if Clemson was ranked, there's no doubt that I would make it probably number one. But it sets the table for everything. You have a quad one game in the Dome on New Year's Eve to open up conference play. And then after that, we talked about the runway. Georgia Tech, Pittsburgh, Florida State, BC. You kind of ease into ACC play. If you beat Clemson, quad one win at home, and you take care of business at the tail end of the non-con like I think they will, you're looking at like an 11-game winning streak going into that Virginia Tech game. That Clemson game is huge, and it's by far and away the biggest game they're going to play between now and January 21st. It sets up everything. It's not the end of the world if you lose it, but man, the opportunity that's at your fingertips, a quad one game at home. Remember, a quad one game at home is hard to come by because you got to be top 30 in the net in order to be a quad one home game. That's awesome. So I think that is the third biggest game remaining for Syracuse. I almost want to put that number one. I mean, that is a hinge game of all hinge games. Season could come crashing and burning if it doesn't go well and you lose by 25 and it just... everything could fall through your hands so fast, or it can catapult you. And all of a sudden, this team's playing with a whole different level of confidence because they just won that big game, and they feel like they could take on the world and beat anybody. I think that Clemson game is the biggest hinge game of the entire year. Shoot, I almost want to move it up to number one, but I won't. I won't do it. Second biggest game remaining on the schedule for Syracuse. I'm going to say it's at Duke. Third-ranked team in the country. It's another big Monday. I mean, they're getting the TV slots here, people. They really are. Big Monday, 7 o'clock, Cameron Indoor Stadium. Syracuse and Duke going at it. That's February 16th. You're looking at probably Dan Schulman and Jay Billis once again. Huge game. Huge game. That's your big opportunity. Okay, Carolina's good. Louisville's good. Clemson's good. Carolina's good. Virginia's good. NC State might be all right. Notre Dame doesn't look half bad. Like, there's good teams. Duke's the cream of the crop. I think Duke and Louisville have a shot to win the national championship. Probably the only two teams in the conference I feel that way about right now. Maybe Carolina can surge into that conversation. But that game against Duke, I mean, it's self-explanatory. You're playing national spotlight, primetime, big Monday. against Duke at 7 o'clock, period. You're looking at Kyan Anthony, Carmelo's kid. Carmelo will probably be in the house. Carmelo's kid playing against Boozer's kids. Boozer and Anthony going at it in 2025, 26 at that point. Like that, there are going to be a lot of eyes, a lot of attention on that game. It's the second biggest game Syracuse is going to play remaining on the schedule. And for number one, it was really tough. It was really, really tough. I almost want to make it a two-way tie. I almost do. And you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna. Because Tim would let me do it. I would say it's my show. It's not. It's Tim's show. I'm just blessed to be filling in tonight. But I'm going to say it's a two-way tie between Saturday, February 21st in the Dome, when Syracuse hosts North Carolina at 1 o'clock. The game's on ABC. Folks, they don't do the whole ABC college basketball thing very often. Okay, there's like 8 games this year across the country in college basketball that are going on ABC. I think there's like 2 or 3 out of the ACC that are going on ABC. And Syracuse is hosting one of them. Not just playing in the game. They're not playing in Chapel Hill. It's at the Dome. It is a massive, massive spot. And it's an honor to get that time slot. 1 o'clock ABC on a Saturday. Football season's well in the past at that point. Carolina, Syracuse, and it's a rematch, okay? They were just going to play 2.5 weeks earlier in Chapel Hill. Talked about that being a massive game for the team, and now you do it again. Rematch, ABC. I talked about the spots. It's such a big spot because you're in the thick of this gauntlet of a stretch, right? You're playing Duke, Carolina, Wake, and Louisville. And that brings me to my tied for first, right? I can't even pick which one's bigger. Tuesday, March 3rd, second to last game of the year. They close out with Pittsburgh on the 7th. Tuesday, March 3rd, second to last game of the year, 9 p.m., Syracuse at Louisville. I said Louisville, I think, is a team that could win the national championship. This is probably Syracuse's last chance. And again, timing. Timing's everything. If they were playing Louisville 3 weeks earlier, I don't think I pick it as this big of a game. This is probably Syracuse's last chance to make a statement. We are a tournament team if you're a bubble team, right? Or we are a top 25 team. Whatever statement you're trying to make, there's your shot. You're probably playing a top 10 team, quad one game easily on the road because they have to be top 75. And Syracuse and Louisville, old school Big East rivalry, turn me up. Turn me up. But I think it's just a massive game at the Yum Center because of where it sits. Second to last game of the year. You can bolster your resume big time if you come away with a win there, if you're Syracuse. And you can silence any doubt if it's a bubble talk, whatever it is. And, of course, you can do that in the ACC tournament, but that's your last regular season shot. And it's the tail end of a gauntlet of a stretch where they're going to play. Get this. This is Monday, February 2nd on at Carolina, at Virginia, Cal and SMU. Okay, SMU's pretty good. Cal's not great, but that's fine. Then you go at Duke versus Carolina at home, at Wake, at Louisville. That's a stretch, man. I talked about the runway easing into ACC play, which is true. It gets hard at the end. It gets brutal at the end. That Louisville game is huge. We are way over time. We are pressed up against a break big time here. If you want to chime in on the talk and talk whatever after the break, we can talk football, basketball, college football playoff, Buffalo Bills, whatever you want. The phone line's open. 315-437-7644. The number to call as always. I'm Giovanni Heater. You're listening to Drive Time right here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Syracuse.
This is our...
That was a fun exercise, guys. I like that one. What's up, guys, in the chat? How we doing? I appreciate you, Spatch and Louise. It's nice to know that you guys enjoy the shows. It is nice. So I appreciate you guys big time. Yeah, I'm excited to see that matchup, Super Cat. Boozer and William Kyle. That's going to be sweet. I'm definitely excited to see that matchup. Oh, did he really? TJ Watt? Wishing him the best. Huh? Uh-huh. Yeah? You want to do Football Friday now? Yeah. Yeah, that went mad long. My bad. Yeah?
Like talk breaks, we talk for like 10 minutes here, break, come back, leave, and we'll just combine. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let's come do Football Friday now. Word.
Long time no talk to you.
Yeah, I'm doing good, brother. How you doing? Me and Paul have had quite the day together.
We have been holding hands all day.
Yesterday, too. Tomorrow as well.
As well.
A lot of bro time.
I went home and took a nap though. Between the shows, I do that.
Weeze is asking, what are the call letters for the station I'm moving? I'm not moving to a station. I'm working for Texas A&M Athletics with Playfly. So, like what Tim does with Learfield, that's what I'm doing at Texas A&M.
You know, actually, I just realized that Texas A&M women's basketball. So he is going to Texas for the ladies.
I guess that
That
is
is what you're doing.
that is true.
Yeah, you can't deny that. He's a ladies' man.
Bro.
Oh, I did a lot of prep on that.
Did you?
I took some pictures on where the Broncos offense ranks and defense ranks.
Hey, that's more prep than I ever do for Football Friday.
That's literally because I was like, I know it's so drastically terrible or good and then terrible. I was like, I actually want the numbers on it.
Perfect.
About all the prep I did. So.
What games are we talking about? Just so.
We gotta at least probably do Colts, don't we?
Poor Paul. I'm sorry, bro. Your mic wasn't on.
There you go. When you got real red there, nobody heard any of that. You got red for no reason.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Excellent.
I don't know. I mean, probably Phillip Rivers, right? We probably, if the 44-year-old's gonna go out there and sling the ball. Colts.
All right.
What are they on, a 3-game losing streak?
I don't even know.
Right. I mean, Bills Patriots. It's probably the game of the week.
Right.
I'd say Colts Seahawks, just because Phillip Rivers. Bengals Ravens, because that's the Raven season, and we could do like Chiefs if you want, because that's the Chiefs season.
Right.
I forget who they're playing.
Let's see if I can.
Yeah, we need to take that one. That's not on you. Fran Brown's post-game press conference.
I was gonna say, let me pull up the Football Friday. Nah, it's too late.
I mean, you can. I guess
Drive time here on ESPN Syracuse and QSportsTalk.com. Giovanni Heater with you, pinch hitting for the one and only Tim Leonard tonight. Paul McCoy joins the set as well. A little bit of
you're very excited about this.
I am. Well, Tim's got unbelievable taste in his welcome music.
He does.
His rejoins. A little bit of Dave Matthews Band.
He does love the Dave. I think he said he's seen Dave Matthews Band over like 30, 40 times.
He's a big fan.
He's a huge fan.
Massive. 30, 40 times is
And of course, every
insane.
time he says that, I bring up, were you there when they dumped the poop?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
When they were on tour one time and they drove over a bridge in Chicago.
Yeah.
And they released the tour bus
Yeah.
toilet over a tour boat that was going under a bridge. And
Wow.
you can kind of connect the dots on what
That's terrible.
happened there.
Well, that's this band
Yeah.
right here.
Yep.
I mean, iconic though.
Well, it's not really them, if we're being honest. It was more their tour bus driver, but they get the blame.
I don't know how he's been to that many concerts.
He's Tim Leonard, man. He's everywhere.
See, I've been to a couple concerts, not many though. I've always chosen to be more of a sporting event goer.
Yeah, that's
myself.
what I'm at. I will say, see, this is how you know Tim's everywhere. Paulie said he's at a women's basketball game. There isn't one of those this weekend. So he's somehow somewhere where he ain't.
I know where Tim is.
I know where Tim is.
Where Tim is.
Should we give away where Tim is?
No, we can't blow his cover. Listen, it's his off weekend.
It is his
The
off
basketball
weekend.
team's not playing.
Yeah, well, he should have like a meet and greet.
He should. Well, Tim Leonard meet and greet. That would go
A
bonkers.
TL meet and greet.
There we go. Tim Leonard will be back. I promise
Monday.
you. If you're sick of this, Tim Leonard will be back on Monday, and you'll have your normal drive time host. But we appreciate you hanging out with us on your Friday evening, making some room for us here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Syracuse. Hope everyone continues to get home safe. The roads have been wild all week long with the snow, but I think they're much better here today. Tim, if you're listening, and I know he's not.
No chance.
But call in, Timo.
Yeah.
315-437-7644 is the number.
I'll put on the headphones and actually hear what you're saying.
There we go. All right, Paul, it's time for our Football Friday here. What do you got for us? Give us some lines, and we're going to make some picks here.
I'm throwing it right back at you because I don't have the lines ready.
Oh, great.
You're the Bills fan here.
Yeah.
That's the game of the weekend, Bills-Patriots.
Indeed.
I'd say it's ultimately the division. Bills win, they're in it. They lose, I think they're out of it. It's not over, but I think it's over.
Which is fine. They'll still probably make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, wild card's A-okay because if you're in.
I still think it's a pretty far cry for them to win the division because the Patriots have such a garbage schedule, which to their credit, they're taking advantage of a last place schedule. They won 4 games last year. So they're taking advantage of a last place schedule. I think they have to lose a couple more even if the Bills win, and it's just probably not going to happen.
Well, my thing is, everyone's making a big deal about the schedule. Drake May's still making the throws. Mm-hmm. The defense is still getting stops. Vrabel has shown he's one of the better coaches in the league.
He certainly has.
I don't care what your schedule is. You still got to go win the games.
Yeah.
Like, they're playing the top talent in the league every week.
Yeah.
They're still winning.
Right. A 10-game winning streak, I don't care who you're playing.
It's not by accident.
Is very impressive. Doesn't matter if you're playing a last-place schedule. Bills 9-4. Patriots 11-2. Buffalo 1.5-point favorites in Foxborough.
Yeah,
Did that surprise you a little bit? It surprised me.
I would take, honestly, the Patriots there just to make some money.
Are you now?
I think the Bills win. I do.
Okay.
But money-wise, I'm taking the Patriots.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to take... I'm a big Bills fan. Just being fully transparent with that.
Huge Bills fan, by the way, everyone.
This is tough. This is a tough one. I don't have a great feeling about the game. I'm not going to lie to you. That being said, I do feel like Buffalo is going to be playing extremely ticked off.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, because remember the game they lost to the Patriots, Sunday Night Football in Buffalo, and it was like Drake May's emergence.
This coming out party.
Stephon Diggs has this unbelievable game, right? Catches 8 passes for like 160 yards. Like
revenge game.
I think, yeah, he plays, to his credit, he plays the villain role brilliantly.
Oh, he's so perfect.
Brilliantly. And it really, it's upsetting. It's really hard to watch him and Matt Collins ball out as wideouts for the New England Patriots.
Shout out my high school, Matt Collins.
Yeah, I think Buffalo's going to play very, very upset in this game. And they really do a nice job of getting up for these big games. Baltimore to open the season. I mean, think about it this way. Josh has not lost to the big 3 this year.
Yeah.
He beat Lamar.
Yep.
He beat Mahomes.
Yep.
And he beat Joe Burrow.
Yep. And he came back against Burrow.
And they just seem to turn it up a notch in those games when he's playing those quarterbacks. And I'm not saying Drake May is that, but Josh is not going to want to lose twice.
Well, there's a reason one's the MVP, and I get Drake May's only in his second year, but one's the MVP and the other is not. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's crazy you just said that because after this year, they might both be MVPs.
I think if they go and win this game, May's got to be the front runner.
Probably so.
Right? I mean, over
100%.
Stafford, I'd say.
100%.
And a couple weeks ago, I was telling Tim, there's no way Stafford wins. Boy, is that wrong now. But, yeah, I mean, so you going Patriots or you going Bills?
I'm going to go Bills.
All right.
I think they're going to play really ticked off. Buffalo -1.5. I hate spreads like that because it's like I get.
Oh, it's a trick spread.
The values with New England, right? You want to take New England, but it's like, dude, nobody's winning a game by a point.
No.
I mean, it happens from time to time, but like I have this like rule, right, where it's like if the spread's less than 3, just pick them to win by a field goal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, because I think what is it, Jordan. Former producer. He's like, it's like I don't remember exactly what he says, but it's like a trick. They want you to bet one way.
If I was gonna bet this, which I'm not, but if I was gonna bet this, I would alt spread this and take it at 3.
I'd also just take the over under 49.5. I'm taking the over.
Probably Buffalo's been scoring a lot of points, and they've been giving up a lot of points. Josh kind of has to put on the cape.
Yeah, I mean, well, 20 fourth quarter points last week. Am I right in that?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
40-yard touchdown. I mean,
Do you think the Bills can win the Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Because I look at it, and I get it's a different sport, but I would argue out of this whole, like, maybe other than, like, the early years of Josh Allen, but out of this run, this might be the worst team.
Yeah, probably.
I'm a Caps fan.
Okay.
They had a run for about 10 years where we were top of the NHL. We were winning President's trophies, this and that, breaking points records, breaking goal scoring records. We couldn't get out of the second round. The team that won it for the Caps was probably the worst team they had in that whole period.
Yeah.
Nationals. They were for 10 years, other than 2015, I want to say, one of the best teams in the league. The team that won it was probably their worst team. So it's something about just like, I don't want to say worst teams, but just like teams you don't expect. They come together, they play well. Something about this team to me, it just seems different. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're under the radar. They're kind of, I don't want to say they're coming from nowhere, but like the Patriots, Drake May's getting all the love.
Yep.
Everyone's talking about the Chiefs' failure. They're talking about Stafford and the Rams and Adams and Devontae going over there and all that. No one's really talking about Josh.
Their team aside, okay, because I do think they have some flaws this year. They've been atrocious at stopping the run.
Yeah.
Their receiver room really isn't great. They're relying heavily on the tight ends, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when you don't have receivers to throw the ball to and you have to throw to the tight ends, it's puzzling.
I think Gabe Davis actually, though, does some things.
I think so, too. He's been a really nice... It's been nice to have him back.
He's getting his feet under him
He's
now.
been better than I thought he was going to be when they brought him in.
Each week, he looks more comfortable.
I agree with you. He's still not like a perfect 1.
He's not back to... Well, he wasn't a 1 when he was originally, but, you know, he was one of maybe...
He's probably their 2.
Top 5-2 in the
Diggs
league.
was their 1. Yeah,
Diggs, Davis.
Well, he left to go be a 1 somewhere, and it just didn't really work.
It didn't really work.
Jags.
Sorry.
No. But I guess my point being, if there's ever a time, there's ever a year, it's got to be this year.
It's got to be this year.
Because Lamar's missing the playoffs. Joey's missing the playoffs in Cincinnati. Mahomes is missing the playoff. Like they're not fully out of it. Like let's get real. They're probably not making
9-4 Chargers. I don't think they're
not making the playoffs.
I don't think they're making the playoffs.
I don't think so either. It's like if there's ever a time, you have to strike while the iron's hot because you're never going to have an opportunity like this again.
It's this year or it's because I mean we were looking at cap earlier today. Gino and I had a bit of a cap discussion when it came to baseball and stuff, and then we somehow got into football.
Salary cap
stuff. Yeah. I mean. Last year, they were $40 million over. I don't know exactly what it is now, but you don't just get rid of all that.
Right.
Especially when you're paying Dawkins what you're paying him. When you're paying... Shakir's a great contract, but you're still paying him a lot.
Right.
Josh Allen was the highest paid. I think he's been surpassed, but that contract's nuts, as it should be. He's earned it.
Right.
This is it, and I think they kind of know that.
Yeah.
Almost. And I don't want to say they're playing desperate, but they're just having fun and I think enjoying the ride, and I think that's honestly one of the first things to winning a title.
Yeah.
Not being stressed. Just go out and play some. It's like, who's your offensive coordinator? Is it Joe Brady?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fourth quarter last week, it's like Joe Brady opened the playbook for Allen.
He saves it for moments.
I know.
They save it for these games.
And this is one of those games.
This is one of those games.
And the playoffs are one of those games.
Right.
And
Also, the Bills beat themselves against the Patriots.
100. Yeah.
The Bills turned it over like 3 times in the red zone.
Allen had some.
Yeah.
Well, there was that. Maybe I'm getting the game wrong, but I want to say he threw one that was in their own half right to a
I'm
Patriot
pretty sure
at the
you're
start
right.
of the game.
Yeah. They had 3 red zone turnovers in that game.
It was like they were just getting in their own way. This offense is grooving.
Yeah.
I think this is the Bills' year. I really, is like you said, if it's not this year, it's not any year, I think.
I really hope you're right.
I think it's another rebuild.
I do. We are so behind. We got to take a break.
behind.
We got to take a break. We're going to wrap up the show when we return. This is Drive Time right here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Syracuse.
Be sure to tune into Mike Bristol.
All right, well, I just BS the whole Bills thing.
Oh, that was great.
Because I've never,
That was fun.
I think I've watched 3 Bills games this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you sounded like you knew what you were talking about.
By the way, just to let everyone know, this is the Bengals defensive ranks this year, and I'm not naming the category. I'm just going to give you the rank: 32nd, 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 31st, 25th, 28th, 32nd.
Josh Allen's going to be a dad.
They're
that
rushing.
just got announced right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just as we're speaking. Everyone's been speculating that, bro.
Is he? Is it a girl, boy, or is it?
I don't know.
Not out yet.
I don't know.
And then that was their overall statistics. Their rushing statistics: 24th, 31st, 29th, 32nd, 23rd. They're averaging 24.2 points per game. The Bengals' offenses. Their defense is giving up 31.8 points per game. Like, what is that? They should have paid Jesse Bates all those years ago, and they didn't. And they've screwed up Joe Burrow because of it. What's also nuts to me is Burrow was out for what? 6-7 weeks? Damn, I just made the joke.
Yeah, you did it.
I did it. But was that how long he was out?
7. Yeah.
About, in terms of a rush play percentage, they're 32nd in the league.
Really?
Yeah. They still run the ball the least amount, even though they went through Browning and Flacco, which I found a bit weird. Makes sense. All right. What do we... Oh, you got like the real chat up here. Look at you.
Oh, yeah. I go Pauly style.
Yeah, you're not...
I go Pauly style.
Congrats, Gavendo. Son won his first year.
Yeah, congrats,
varsity,
Gavendo. Big stuff.
Was that wrestling?
Yeah, wrestling.
I will say to you, Noah, you haven't had to dump on your show, so that's good. Paulie had to scramble for the dump. You see though,
Mario.
You see Paulie roll out right there, scramble, get to the dump button in time.
I did. That was impressive.
He still got it, man.
He had some wheels. He had some wheels.
It reminded me a lot of like Aaron Rodgers. It wasn't like quick or anything like that, but it was good.
Yeah.
He avoided all the pressure.
Right.
Hit the receiver down the field.
Right.
I mean, that's all you can ask for, really.
Yeah. Reliable.
And
old.
That was, dude, did you see that throw? What was it?
That go right over your head.
No, well, probably is old. I think he came pre-shrunk, personally. But did you see that throw where he rolled out to his left, threw across his body to the tight end? I don't know. Maybe it was Jonnu Smith against the Ravens. Rodgers just did last week. It was like, because
I was watching the Buffalo Bills play football.
Rolling his the opposite way for him. He's always been very good at it, and it just reminded me of like prime Rodgers. And then he hit the discount double check. He ran it in for a touchdown, and he hit it. And it was like,
I don't like Aaron Rodgers.
I'm 13 again. Really?
Yeah, I do.
I love him because he's so just him.
He's a diva, though.
Yeah.
He totally is.
But he doesn't care. So I respect that.
I love Josh Allen. He's a humble king. Humble king. He does it for the Children's Hospital.
Well, so did Russell Wilson, but people hate him.
He makes himself unlikable.
I mean, he does make himself.
He's goofy.
He is goofy. But you remember Russell used to do that every week when he was with the Seahawks. I don't know if he does now. He would go to the Children's Hospital, walk around.
My uncle has an awesome nickname for Russell Wilson.
Let's hear it.
Can't.
I can't confirm, everyone, that that cannot be said, but it is very funny.
Wasn't that bad.
No.
It definitely wasn't that bad. It didn't even have to do with like a bad word.
Here's what you're gonna do when you make it. You're just gonna drop that randomly because what are they gonna do? Fire you at that point? Maybe your last day here, you just drop that. What's probably gonna do? Fire you?
Perhaps.
Oh, we're coming back, everyone.
SyracuseBicycle.com. ESPN Radio 97.7 and 100.1. Watch your favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com.
Winding down drive time here on a Friday evening in Syracuse. Giovanni Heater with you for just a couple more minutes before we let you have your Friday night in front of you. Pinch hitting for Tim Leonard tonight on ESPN Syracuse and QSportsTalk.com. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us all week long. Wishing you a fantastic weekend. Hopefully you got some fun stuff planned, whether you're hanging with the family, Christmas stuff planned. It is the best time of year. It's my favorite time of the year, no doubt about it. We got a jam-packed weekend, though, here at Q Sports Talk and ESPN Syracuse. So if you're around this weekend, come chill with us. Tomorrow, basketball in the Dome once again. Quick turnaround. 2 games in 3 days for the Orange hitting the hardwood. Came away with the win over St. Joseph's last night. Tomorrow, they have their best non-conference test that remains on the schedule. A top 100 net opponent in Hofstra. The Pride roll into the Dome. So Syracuse with an opportunity, if you can put together a nice-looking win, to maybe bolster that resume just a little bit. It currently sits as a quad 3 game for Syracuse tomorrow. It is the lone quad 3 game or higher remaining in the non-conference portion of the schedule before they open up ACC play against Clemson on New Year's Eve inside the Dome. So after that, it'll be quad 4, quad 4, quad 4 before they get into ACC play. Again, Hofstra, quad 3 opportunity, 4 p.m. tip inside the Dome. That means we'll come at you live at 3 o'clock right here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Syracuse. I'll have you covered pregame. I'll have you covered postgame. We'll have a good time. We'll break it all down after the game immediately following the action as well. That is tomorrow. Syracuse will play again on Wednesday against Mercyhurst at 7 o'clock, Northeastern at 4 o'clock the following Saturday, then Stonehill on Monday the 22nd at 7 p.m. before we roll into the conference portion of the schedule. It's the best time of the year. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Wishing everybody a wonderful weekend. We will talk to you tomorrow right here, 3 o'clock sharp. Syracuse basketball pregame as the Orange will take on Hofstra inside the Dome. Enjoy your Friday evening. For Paul McCoy producing the show behind the scenes, we appreciate him as always. For Tim Leonard, who always hosts this show, let me pinch hit tonight. I'm Giovanni Heater saying so long and good night. You listen to Q Sports Talk and ESPN Syracuse.
This